So this is a repo from, how do you say Emily's last name?
I don't know how to say
it. Okay, so this is a repo that has some code that does Yatzy scoring that we're going to refactor. Looks like there's a bunch of tests in place, right?
Yes, where a bunch is defined as 15, looks like.
Okay.
We decided that we don't have a clear like refactoring goal on this one, right? It's just make the code better, whatever that means.
Yeah, I mean, what that means for me is to understand the code by refactoring it, by encoding the information that we gather as we look at it into the code, by naming things, by extracting methods, by potentially reorganizing the code. So, I don't know, let's get started.
Okay. I usually like to look at the tests first.
Yeah.
If you have a preference.
I pulled up the tests and looking at them, and I'm like, I'm kind of willing to maybe assume that they're sufficient, but we don't have any kind of coverage tooling here, do we?
Oh no, I don't have a good thing for that.
Okay. Maybe we can look at them really quick. They are kind of weirdly weird.
Tell me more.
Well, they're not consistently named, right?
Yeah.
There's 1S, 2S, and then 3s written out.
3s, and this one has the word fact in it, where I don't. Oh, some of them have fact at the beginning. Okay.
Yes. It's like for of a kind is abbreviated for some reason, I guess, or just
yeah
misspelled. It's hard to know.
It's hard to know.
There's inconsistencies in terms of underscores versus camel casing versus I don't know. I don't see any title casing.
Oh wait, there's not quite title casing. I mean, it has underscores too.
No, it starts with an uppercase letter, but still does snake or underscores. So
yeah.
The other thing looking at it was that it looks like there's a variety of, like, some of these look like they're implemented as, I mean, just looking at it from the usage perspective, are implemented as static methods.
Yeah. Some of them are using the class constructor.
Yeah. Right.
I think there was.
Sir.
Oh, this one is doing that. Oh no, I guess that's the same kind of pattern as that.
It's just that the naming has to be lowercase on the method to not conflict with the class
name. Yeah. Okay.
So there are opportunities for improvement there, at least for consistency.
Do you want to look at? Oh, do you want to continue looking here? Do you want to go look at the actual production code, as it were?
Sure. I guess I'm just thinking in terms of like which way I would prefer to standardize, right? Given the two different methods or the two different approaches, right? In terms of either instantiating a class and then asking it versus a static method. Given what it's doing, I feel like a static method is fine because it's kind of a pure function where you give it data and you get a result.
For the actual scoring part, I think a static method would be fine. If we were to actually implement it in a game, then doing it more like this might be nice, because we could say, oh, well, you have this collection of dice rolls, and then we could go through and see, oh, well, if you did this, you get this score. If you did this, you get this score.
Okay.
So, I mean, we could do that with, let's see, what does this take?
Although even there, like I might want to go with a more functional approach and have like a collection of dice as a class, I guess, kind of.
Yeah.
And then paths that into each of the functions to do a process, to do processing.
Yeah.
I don't know. So that was my initial thought. And we can go look at the code and see if the code gives us any hints as to what might be an appropriate action there.
So this is our constructor. We notice the inconsistent naming convention again. So that's something to look
Quite
at.
special. Let's start. Like, can we just rename the _5 to D5 just so at least it's all the same?
Yes, if I can remember the right keyboard shortcut for VS Code to do that.
Although you look at line 28, that's special. We're using a params array.
Yep.
Which again is not necessarily wrong. It's just different.
Not necessarily wrong, but it is inconsistent.
Yes.
Okay, looks like.
I assume this is kind of meaning to simulate when in a code base you have different developers or even the same developer over time, kind of understanding different ideas about how to code, either I'm thinking about the params array specifically. It's like, oh, I learned how to do a params array. Let me try that in the code. And so using that. I learned about static, or I learned about instance class variables, like whichever one, like there's this evolution.
Right. And the inconsistent naming up there I could see is, at one point Yatzy had 4 dice, and then we added a 5th die, and now we added that parameter with some automated tool and didn't check the naming on it or something like that.
Right. If you go down to like 104, see like score pair and 2 pair, and then if you go down even further, like 4 of a kind, there's like tallies and counts, which look like they are on 3 of a kind as well. Like there looks like there's some clear duplication there that we could figure out.
Yeah. I wonder if it would make sense to, because like we have tallies and T and tallies and counts and counts. I wonder if it would make sense to name those all consistently to make the duplication easier to recognize.
Yeah. So why don't we do that? Should we just, which name do you prefer?
Counts, maybe, just because for me, it's a more common word.
Yeah, that's kind of how I was thinking too. So let's do counts. On the 4 of a kind, let's see if this will work. Yeah. I'm going to change the dice to be consistently named.
And I'm assuming because your cursor stayed in the same place that LiveShare let you do at least the rename refactoring.
It did, which I guess is less useful for our people watching this later. You can't see what I did, but it just magically changed.
Yes, it just It's magic.
Okay.
Counts. Counts. Oh, this is going to be fun. We have.
I don't even.
I'll take some deciphering. I'm not quite sure what that means.
I mean, given what I understand about a full house, my guess is like, are there two, and then are there three, and then doing something with that.
Something about figuring out where they are, so you don't reuse.
I don't know. I don't know why
the pair to make
you
it
have to
3 or something. I don't know. That's what I'm guessing. Okay, that maybe we'll come back to that
one. There's inconsistencies between plus and plus equals 1.
Yes.
Is there? I don't know. I think I'd prefer plus. I don't know why. Too. So
if we were going to have places where it's sometimes it's +1, sometimes it's +5, sometimes it's +42, then having the plus equals 1 be explicit can be useful. But I think in this case, we're always adding 1.
Yeah. Do you want to do why are we plus equaling 2 up there? Oh, that's
these are
different enough that I'm not even going to pay attention to it for now.
that sounds good. Let's do that. Well, because this is an actual score.
Yeah.
Which maybe we should rename these to score or sum.
Sure. That seems like a
good name.
It's better than some.
Okay. I'll change those two. Score.
Combine the assignment and declaration there for the 3s.
Oh, for the 3s. Okay. Yeah. Hey, look. This almost looks like this now.
Yeah. Can do that there too in the 4s.
Sure.
We could rename that sum to score. There.
Oh, yeah, that would be good. This one too.
Yeah. From S, yes. Nice.
This one.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Do we want to come back down here to all of our pluses and +1?
Yeah. So let's come back down to the counts.
Can I just do refactoring? Oh, I can't. Oh. Ooh, let's see. Let's do not that. Not that. That.
Oh yeah. Multi-cursor.
Multi-cursor edit there.
What is it with Alt?
In VS Code is Control Alt.
Okay.
Which I think in Writer it is Alt Shift to do that, but in VS Code Alt Shift is duplicate line. Because I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting from a VS Code, like a live share perspective. Like I still only see one cursor for you. Like even when you go multi-cursor.
Stuff just changes on all the lines.
Which is fine. So I'm kind of watching both. Okay. So it looks like we're now consistent in terms of always using.
That's interesting.
The increment operator.
Oh, no. This is for counts, not for dice. Okay. Like we don't have 6 dice, but we do have 6 different counts. So
yeah, we have 6 different possible values that each of the dice can be.
Can I change these indexers to I?
I don't know. I don't understand yet why. Is there a reason why it's at, or is it just?
I think it's just a different convention. Because like up here we're using
I think
I
it's
as an indexer.
yeah. Well, I think it's so that on like 97 there, where your cursor is, that it reads dice at equals 6.
Yeah, so you can read it dice at index. I don't know. I'm not sure how I'd read that.
Yeah, that's true.
I would read this one dice sub I, but
either way, like you said, maybe let's be consistent. I'm okay with the convention of I kind of see where the other convention might be interesting to explore at some point, but it's not one that I'm familiar with, or if not used consistently.
Yeah,
I think I've heard of it before, but it looks like most of the code goes the other way. So like score pair on 111 uses at.
Oh yes.
But then the other kinds use I. So who knows? Once again, that inconsistency.
I mean, yeah, it's not that either one is wrong, but the fact that we're not being consistent means that every time we see one of those, we have to stop and think, oh, well,
why is it different?
Why is it different? Yeah. And if we were to go and edit the code, we'd have to think about, oh, well, which one should I do? Should I do I? Or should I do at?
Okay. Line 77. Again, just kind of perusing the code for weirdness. Like the terminating condition.
Yeah.
Maybe make it consistent with the other ones where it's less than dice.length.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Yeah. Although I'm like, do we even need the index? Can we just go to a for each? Right.
How consistent are we on that kind of stuff? I guess these are all. I think we could probably do a for each.
Like at least for those, like for 4s, 5s, and 6s.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So here's another thing, right? You're looking at 4s, 5s, and 6s. It's essentially the same thing that we're doing for the 2s and the 3s.
But these are unrolled.
Yes. So I think we could collapse 4s, 5s, and 6s down to one method if we extract the 4, 5, and 6, right?
Yes. So like are you thinking having a common method that all of these call?
Yeah. So if we extract the 4, so on line 77, the number 4.
Oh, the number 4.
Number 4. Can we introduce a variable?
Extract a
local constant, maybe?
Maybe. Let's try that. That's maybe. Oh, that's not as helpful as I would have liked. Here, at least.
Yeah, and maybe not a constant, not named V.
Named V. I don't know why it picked that. What do you call that?
It's, I don't know, die roll, something like that. Seems
die value or something.
Yeah. Well, it's not the. Sure. Let's do that for now.
Value.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we also want this one to be die value.
Correct. Because I mean, it's somewhat coincidental, but like in this case, the 4s are worth 4s, the 5s are worth 5, the 6 worth 6. But that's just part of the game. So
yeah. If we had more complicated scoring rules, then maybe we need some kind of a tuple or something, or some kind of way to group those together. But
so if you move 75 down in front of 78, then that is all like from 77 to 84, we should be able to extract, assuming Visual Studio Code is smart enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. Good. What do you? Except I don't want to call this new method. That seems terrible. I mean,
it's equivalent of applesauce, I guess. Just a little less. Can probably stay in there a little longer. Just sneaky.
Yeah.
Looks like a real thing. I don't know, score single die value, something like that.
Yeah. Let me inline this. Whoa. I was going to propose something crazy.
It doesn't.
Well, let me inline. How will it let me do that?
Okay.
How do you feel about that?
I feel great. So we can now replace 88 to 92 with, I mean, I guess you could just duplicate it depending on how incremental you want to be. Like if you just duplicate 73 twice at least.
And call it 5s and 6s and put in a new value.
Yeah.
So if we do, this one will be fun because, let's take this.
Can you duplicate a line?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
5.
Oh, because, you renamed it. I was going to propose we renamed it after, but that's fine.
This one goes away, but only soft goes away until we know that our tests actually pass.
I just think it's interesting because like I'm like most of the time I don't care. I'm just like I can always do Control Z.
Yeah. Sometimes you get into a state where it's like, I have to do too much. I have to do more Control Z than I want.
That's true, but like, I guess depends on how much confidence I have in the change.
Yeah. For me, it's also kind of a reminder of this is the thing that I just did. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. This is like, I just noticed the naming between these two. This is like score single die value. This is more like on the same level of abstraction, maybe. The names maybe aren't quite right, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
So do we want to change 4s, 5s, and 6s to score 4s, score 5s, score 6s?
Maybe. Let's see how we feel about that.
I mean, we could even change. I don't know if it would be more confusing, but we could change 77, score single die value, just score n or n's.
Yeah.
But that might be more confusing than what we currently have. Okay, so we now have Okay. Oh, here's our problem, right? So score 4s, 5s, and 6s is taking advantage of our constructor, whereas 3s and 2s are static.
Or not. Yep.
Oh, boo. Okay. So we kind of need to decide now, which way do we want to go?
Hmm. The good thing about doing it this way is it's a static function. It has no side effects. That's good.
Yeah.
A thing that I don't like is passing in 5 individual variables like that. I mean, it's not terrible. Probably, I mean, unless we expand the rules to Yahtzee, we're always going to have 5 dice. And so it's like, okay. Having like an array or some other sort of data structure that represents the dice, I would feel a little bit better about.
I mean, we could borrow what the Yahtzee method is doing a params array.
Yeah, we could.
I don't know, like kind of, yeah, I mean, that'd be fine. I mean, the thing is that if you go up to the top, right, the very top, the constructor takes 5 values and then turns it into an array. Yeah. I mean, that's probably what we're going to turn it into anyway. So I'd be okay standardizing on the params array. I mean, I don't know though. Like the only thing that I have a problem with that is that, like, what if somebody put 6 in there? Like we just
right.
Like it just, I don't even know.
It does get
like, does it matter? Like, I mean, that's part of the rules, but we could do a check, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, we could do one thing that, like, doing a params or even just an array where it could be of various sizes. Like for all of these score 4s, score 5s, score 6s, and stuff like that, even score pairs would be okay. I'm not sure what a full house means if you don't have 5.
Yeah.
Or
you'd have to have at least 5, right?
Yeah. Like if you have 10, can you have 2 full houses? I don't even know if that makes sense. So I guess there is that benefit from having exactly 5 parameters that you always have 5. And like, even if we did this as an array or something, if we wanted to enforce that, we have to do some sort of checking.
Right. Yeah, we'd have to have some sort of guard clause that throws a argument exception of some sort.
Right.
I mean, even here, like, we're not doing any checking to make sure those die rolls are 1 through 6.
That's true. Yeah, if we did want to do lots of checking like that, having, there could be some value in having it in a single place, like in a constructor, so you can't construct an invalid set of dice rolls or something. I don't know. I think part of that for me depends on how this code is going to be used. If I'm the one who's going to be using it, I don't usually feel like, I mean, I already have access to it. So if I want to cheat it somehow, I'll just change the code.
Right.
And this is going to be some library that I'm going to publish on NuGet or something that other people are going to use. Maybe there's more value in having those kind of checks.
Yeah, I think, to your point, like, it has to do with where in the application does it sit? Where's the boundary? Are we in Are we inside where we can assume that the defensive stuff has happened somewhere else, or do we need to code defensively in this part of the code?
In
Do we?
domain-driven design, it's called, I just had the name. Anti-corruption layer.
Right. That type of thing.
Are we inside of that? Are we crossing that? Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
And in this particular code, we don't really have that context because it's just this one class and its associated tests.
Well, which way do you want to decide?
So part of me says, oh, we should just use this dice thing because I like how these are. And they use this dice array, and then we wouldn't have to change those. We have to change these a lot, but
yeah, there are more that are static, I think, on the whole.
I think you're probably right. Yeah.
If I'm remembering from the test side.
Yeah, it looks like, well, it does look like most of them are static, except for the ones that we just did.
Right.
So that would be more changes. I don't know. Do you have a preference? Interestingly, where we have these all factored almost exactly the same, changing these to be static wouldn't be that hard.
Correct. That being said, I think I do like, I don't know. I feel the object orientedness in me and the functionalness in me like fighting it out here.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I mean, neither one is wrong. It's just one does lean more object oriented and the other leans more functionally.
Let's go the OO route. Let's do that. I mean, I'm just thinking that way it centralizes the checking of the dice if we actually wanted to do that.
Okay.
It gives that dice array, like, I mean, everybody has access to it. Could we make it read only? I don't know how that works with arrays.
I mean, you can make the array itself read only.
Oh, but then they change the values anyway.
Yeah, the values in it won't be read only.
Yeah, I feel better about it if we could make an immutable data structure.
Let's see. Is there good built-in data structure that is immutable, like the actual values are in it are immutable?
Not that I am aware of, but I don't know. Anyway, given that that's not a thing, we can go with this. I think having an array is convenient for a lot of the different things that we want to do in here. So, and then to your point, your earlier point, then you could be like, hey, here's this set of dice. Let me call the method for all of them on that Yatzy object and then find which one's best.
Right.
Okay, so given that,
we need to do some refactoring.
Yes.
I think.
So let's start with the 2s and the 3s and the 1s, since we know those are ones that we can easily use our go to that pattern. Yeah. So we need to go to the test.
Yeah. The tests would be, let's see, where did we haven't spent as much time looking at our tests, so I don't know where all the stuff is. Okay, so this is the pattern we want to have.
Yeah.
Oh, and we have fours. We have four of a kind just out here in the middle, don't we? I'm going to move this up here by the other ones that it is like.
And also rename it so that it's consistent without the fact stuff.
Yeah, which should we just name it fours? I kind of like this: fours, fives, threes, twos.
Let's do that.
Except I want to name it like that because that is C# convention.
Yeah, that's one of the other interesting bits about like these repos that Emily has, that like a lot of times they'll like copy and paste from other languages and then leave a variety of different naming conventions
and stuff. Yeah.
Which again, I think is good because that's just kind of how it is sometimes.
Yeah, which isn't that atypical for a real code base. Okay, so this would be.
So yeah, we did new
Yatzy. Give it that.
Right. Just to minimize the change.
Right.
And then this is interesting that it's showing up there for you because I'm inside the like pop-up that you do like to navigate.
Oh,
I don't know. It's kind of funny. Like the references view. Okay, so then we need to go back to the other code.
Over here.
We need to get rid of it being static.
Yep.
And get rid of that.
And should get all grumpy about all of those. If we want to take a smaller step, we could declare all of these and say, int d1 equals dice sub 0, int d2 equals dice sub 1, and so on.
Yeah.
I think we could just.
I'm feeling bold though.
Yeah.
Feeling bold. What is duplicate line again?
Alt shift up arrow is to duplicate up.
Okay, so let's just say threes
for now.
3.
Yay, it works.
Okay, and then we can rename this to be score threes.
Right.
And then we should be able to quickly follow the pattern for 2s and 1s, right?
Yes, I think so. Oh, interesting. Except how about you do 2s? I'm going to make this 1s test up here consistent with the other ones.
Okay.
So that it's easier to refactor them all.
Yes. Oh. Okay. It's mad because it's not, it is, so if we go back to the code, it's not, it doesn't need to be static anymore. And well, we can just.
Yeah, that.
Wait, was it? Oh, multi-cursor now.
Oops.
I think. No. Is it?
Oh, it's
Alt shift up?
Yeah.
No, not toes. That's gonna blow up because that should be a 2.
Hey, look, it gave us it. So it compiled, but it gave us the wrong score, which what we expect.
That's encouraging that our tests are valuable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then if we go back to the tests, you want to change the tests?
Yes. Let's see if I can do this.
And I'm going to be sneaky. And out of view.
Make it work.
Change ones. Let's see. Hey.
Tests seem to work. And look.
I'm going to rename
there's your sneaky.
this. Okay, how are we doing on time?
Let's see. We are 10:52.
I don't know. How about we pause? Maybe we can come back to it
Okay.
for a second round, because I think there's more here. I think we found a bunch of interesting little bits and pieces, and I think it's better.
Yeah, I think it's better.
Feels
I think
better.
it is a little bit weird because we're in this. I mean, I guess it's not any weirder than it was before, where half the stuff is using this instance level array, and the other half is using this static and using things passed in. But it was that way before. I think we're moving in a good direction on that. We picked a direction.
Yeah.
The code did not have originally, which was good.
Oh no, it had picked all the directions.
Every direction. When every direction is special, no direction is special, something like that.
Something like that. Okay, well,
yeah,
we'll continue this at some point in the future, part 2.
Yeah, sounds good.